2013 will begin on time at 4:30. Everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and please remain standing for a moment of silence.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 2, roll call.
Here.
Here. Here.
Here. 4 commissioners present and 1 either delayed or absent. Number 3, declaration of conflict of interest. And there is none. Number 4, communication.
Commissioners, I think you have in your packet a program for the annual Realtors Breakfast, which is Tuesday, June 25th. It's at the Lost Marsh Clubhouse. I believe registration is at 8 o'clock a.m. And so that's the only communication that we have.
Any questions, commissioners? Discussions? Okay, thank you. Number 5, minutes for June 4th, 2013.
Madam President,
Yes, Commissioner.
make a motion for approval of the minutes from June 4th, 2013.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. All commissioners present, 1 except 1. Okay, number 6, homebound conditional forgivable loan approval.
Commissioners, Jen could not make it to the meeting, so she asked me to handle the homebound approvals. I believe we're still missing 1 person. So if we could come back to number 6 and go through some of the other items.
Okay, commissioners?
That's fine.
We will table that. Number 7, conditional approval of the sale of NSP properties and related affordability assistance allowance for Shanice Browder.
Shanice here. Okay, unfortunately, Dennis Radowski called and he had an emergency, so he was not able to make it to this meeting. I believe because we don't have the paperwork with us that we would need to move this into the next meeting, which would be the July 2nd meeting, I believe. So, and I think Dennis said he was going to reach out to you tomorrow to talk to you about it, but that's all the information I have.
Madam President, I'll make a motion to move the line item number 7, conditional approval for the sale of NSP properties related affordability assistance allowance to our July 2nd meeting.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Lee. Roll call, please. Do it.
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes. 4 commissioners approval, 1 absent. Okay, we'll move on to number 6. You just came in.
Okay.
Ms. Davis?
You want to go back to
Welcome.
number 6?
Okay, we will go back to number 6, homebound conditional forgivable loan approval.
Commissioners, you have in your packet if we can have the 4 applicants step forward to the podium: Daniel Cummins, Lakeisha Davis, Joanne Figueroa, and Cynthia Hickey. As I mentioned, Jen was not able to be at this meeting, so she asked me to help out, but these are the 4 applicants. You have the addresses that they will be purchasing, and if you have any questions for them, they are available.
Mr. Cummins, how did you hear about the program?
Actually, from looking at the website, the GoHammond.com website, just perusing.
Okay. Good. What about Ms. Hickey? How did you find out about the program?
GoHammond.com.
Anybody find out through their realtor or the lender? Who's your
My realtor is Karen Stein from McCauley.
Okay, she told you about the program and she gave you all the information you needed? Okay.
Okay. Madam
Any
President.
questions?
You guys have
Commissioners?
questions for us? I'll just hurry up and get it over with.
We need a motion.
Madam President,
Yes, Commissioner.
I make a motion to approve the homebound conditional forgivable loan approval for the 4 applicants.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion
Welcome
passes.
to Hammond. Well,
Thank
all you guys
you.
already from Hammond, but
Thank you.
congratulations on buying your first property.
Thank you.
Motion passes, one commissioner absent. Number 8, authorization to amend current signature agreement with Superior Design Building LLC for the Harrison Park Improvement Project Phase 1 tennis court.
Commissioners, this is the Harrison Park Improvement Project. Phase 1 is building of the new tennis courts, which you're aware of. We approved this project. I believe the project started in October of last year, and we've had some things that have slowed down the project. It just so happens I had a meeting with the group that won the bid, which was Superior Engineering, this morning, and we discussed the project and talked about some of the reasons that the project has gone a little slower than what we anticipated, and they are prepared to go as fast as they can to get the project complete. They believe they will be able to have it done by the 8th of August. That would mean all of the tennis courts are completed. So basically what we're looking for is an approval to extend their contract through August 8th of this year.
Any questions?
So on this change order, the figures in red, so is that a credit to us, or is that
That is correct. Because of the slowdown of the project, we've actually deducted some of the costs that we originally were going to pay them, and we've worked that out through our project manager, who is Hutton and Hutton. So yes, that is correct. Actually, the project will end up costing us less, which is great, but at the same time, I would like to see the project get done as quick as possible. So we're excited to have a little less cost, but more importantly, we need this project completed. I know Hammond High has already started their tennis season, and they were expecting to hopefully use these courts before it's all said and done. So the answer to your question is yes.
okay? And so if we agree to this, are they gonna have this done on time?
They basically told me this morning they will.
Okay.
Any more questions or discussion?
I should mention, there's been a few issues having to do with weather as well. So it isn't all, I don't want to put all the blame on Superior. There's been some other issues, but I believe it could have moved a little faster, so.
I was by there the other day. It's pretty far along though. If you look at it right now, it's this next couple months, they should be able to wrap it up.
There's going to be 4 pours of the actual, I believe it's concrete, before they put the substance on top for the tennis courts, and the first pour is tomorrow. So it is moving forward. I don't want to give you the wrong idea, but again, the project started last year in October, so I would have liked to have seen it completed a little sooner, but it is what it is, and I believe August 8th should be an accurate date for completion.
Madam President, I make a motion to approve the authorization to amend the current subgrantee agreement with Superior Design LLC for the Harrison Park Improvement Project Phase 1 tennis courts.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes. Number 9, approval to reduce the price of the vacant lot located at 821 Truman Street.
Commissioners, I believe Richard Martinez is here. You can step forward if you like, Mr. Martinez. This is a property commonly known as 821 Truman Street. We put the property for sale through public bid in the newspapers. We did not receive any bids on the property there. At that point, we were able to negotiate with anybody on the sale of the property. Mr. Martinez I believe, lives at the adjacent property and has been maintaining this property on his own. And at one point, we had come in front of the commission to close on the property, I believe, for $525. However, after talking to Mr. Martinez and understanding what he's been doing to take care of the property in the past, and the fact that we as a commission are trying to not own as many properties as we have right now because of maintenance costs, what I told Mr. Martinez is if he was willing to close on the sale of the property for $300, and the commission was willing to approve it, that he can come here today and hopefully get this new agreement approved.
Repeat that dollar amount, Phil, please.
Say that again?
The dollar amount.
It would be 300, we'd be selling the property for $300.
And that's a vacant lot, so we won't have to worry about cutting the grass, we won't have to worry about taxes and all of that if we do this.
My neighbor, my sister has a neighbor who bought the lot through the city, and she's really, it's what a difference it is in the neighborhood, because she has taken well care of it.
Yeah, I take care of that lot and the other lot next door. I take care of them both because they're in between the houses, you know.
Any questions, any more questions, commissioners?
Madam President,
Commissioner.
I make a motion for the approval to reduce the price of the vacant lot located at 821 Truman Street.
Thank you, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you have a good one now.
You too.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Number 10, approval of development agreement for Caulfield Holding Company LLC. Am I pronouncing Caulfield correct?
Sure. Commissioners, this has been a long time coming. This is the project that we have discussed for a long time. As you know, at River Park, also known as Oxbow Landing, we put the property out for bid to the public, and we had, I believe, 3 bidders on the property, one of which was Caulfield Holding Company, also known as Flossmoor Station Restaurant and Brewery. And therefore, I would like to call Mr. Dean Armstrong up to the front, and he's going to talk to you briefly about Flossmoor Station.
Mr. Armstrong.
Howdy.
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome. My name's Dean Armstrong. My wife Carolyn and I own Flossmoor Station Restaurant and Brewery, and we hope to be the owners of Hammond Station Restaurant and Brewery, because that's the proposal that we have. Just a little bit of a background. By the way, Caulfield Holding Company, for those of you who have read Catcher in the Rye, Holden Caulfield was the protagonist, and he was the book was a favorite of mine. So anyway, Caulfield Holding Company is the legal name, but the business name will be Hammond Station Restaurant and Brewery. And if any of you have had the opportunity to come on out to Flossmoor Station Restaurant and Brewery, let me just tell you a little bit of history about that. 1996, Flossmoor Station in downtown Flossmoor was run down and dilapidated. And basically downtown Flossmoor was a ghost town. There was a very good restaurant called Fresh Starts, but there wasn't much other business. My wife and I like to drink beer, and we thought about maybe converting it into what's called a brew pub, a restaurant that makes its own beers. And so we converted the old Flossmoor train station into Flossmoor Station Restaurant and Brewery. And we started in 1996. Our sales have been up every year. We employ 80 people full-time, seasonally about 90 people. Flossmoor used to have nobody parking downtown Flossmoor. Now it has the kind of parking problems that you want.
Right.
Not enough parking spaces. And so even though we can't take all the credit for it, we worked with the Flossmoor Village Board of Trustees, with the mayor of Flossmoor. They've been very supportive. We have helped redevelop all of downtown Flossmoor, where now it's somewhat of a bustling little town. We're very proud of what we did. There's a lot of community pride in Flossmoor Station. If you look up in some of the restaurant critiques, some people actually say, we went there to close, we went to Flossmoor Station to talk about buying property in Flossmoor, and we liked the station so much, we decided to buy property in Flossmoor because we like Flossmoor Station so much. There's a lot of community pride, and it's become a community gathering place. In 2006, Flossmoor Station Restaurant and Brewery was named by the Great American, at the Great American Beer Festival, the best small brew pub in America. So we bring to you a track record of not only helping redevelop a rundown downtown area, but also a track record of successful operations. Our sales from 1996 to the present have gone up every year, except for 2011. I think it's self-explanatory as to why the sales were down for that. Some things at Hammond Station Restaurant and Brewery will be different. Some things will be the same. One of the things that we propose to be different is going to be a much larger operation. It'll be a 28,000 square foot building, and we've got some pictures which we'll show you shortly. Seating capacity of 300 inside, about 190 outside, so about 490 total, for a total cost of about $10 million. The main thing that I think some of your citizens and residents will want to hear about, we plan on employing a minimum of 100 people, and that's good for everybody. It also, Flossmoor Station has become a tourist attraction, and we have people come from not only throughout the United States, but from throughout the world as well. Some people actually plan their vacations around touring certain brew pubs in various parts of the country. So we believe that Hammond Station Restaurant and Brewery will be a tourist attraction as well. Even though it'll be a much larger operation, Hammond Station Restaurant and Brewery will also engender the kind of community pride that we've engendered in Flossmoor, and it'll become a community gathering place as well. Many of you probably know of 3 Floyds right around the corner in Munster. Very, very successful. We're not going to cut into their business at all, and they won't cut in our business at all, because it's a different market. They have a niche market where it's basically, nothing against it, but motorcycles and tattoos. Ours is much more of a family gathering place. The word pub comes from public house. We want to be a public house. We want to be a community gathering place. 3 Floyds has carved out their niche in a certain style of beer. What we propose at Hammond Station Restaurant and Brewery is to make Hammond the barrel-aged beer capital of America. And that's not the beer talking, that's reality. The person that started barrel-aging beer, where basically you take beer and you age it in Jack Daniel whiskey barrels, the person that started this process, is the brewer's name is Todd Ashman. Todd Ashman started our barrel-aged brewing program at Flossmoor Station. He moved on to a brew pub or a microbrewery in Truckee, California, and he's willing to come back and be the head brewer for this operation as well, with the emphasis on barrel-aged beers. So Hammond Station Restaurant and Brewery will be more family-oriented. We're going to emphasize the barrel-aged beer aspect of it. It's going to be a community gathering place. And we're going to show you some pictures in a minute, because a picture certainly is worth 1,000 words. But we are proud to have this opportunity. And if you give us this opportunity, we think you will be proud of Hammond Station Restaurant and Brewery. If someone can please help me with some of these pictures here. And this is Jimmy Gierzik. He's been a friend of mine for a long time, an excellent contractor. And Jeff works with Portillo's Restaurants. And these are rough sketches of what is proposed for the outside on the street side, and this is the other side. And 28,000 square feet, a rather large operation. And then is there the backside? Yeah, this is the backside picture as well. If any of you have been to O'Hare lately, you may have seen right by some of the hotels in O'Hare, there's a place, a rather famous restaurant. What's the Western singer's name? Toby Keith. Toby Keith has this place where I love this bar, and it's got big letters on top.
One in Vegas.
It'll be done tastefully, and that's what we propose here.
Nice.
And so, if there's any questions that you have about either the operations or the design, Jeff can answer your questions about the designs. Jimmy can answer your questions about the construction of it, and I can try to answer whatever questions you have about what the proposal is. But once again, we thank you for the opportunity of building this place in your community. Thank you.
Commissioners, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't have any questions, but I want to take, I recently went to Flossmoor Station.
I'm going to show you.
Recently, about a month ago, I worked for Coldwell Banker. We had an outing there, and I was very, very impressed with that. And I remember saying, wow, it's too bad we don't have something like this in Hammond. And here you are. Do you believe in divine intervention?
Ask and ye shall receive.
I'm telling you.
Well, that's exactly what we plan on doing, the same kind of, hopefully you found out that community gathering place, family friendly, and that's what we want to do. 3 Floyds has done a phenomenal job, but it's a totally different market. And we want it to be a place where you'll want to go right after your redevelopment commission meetings.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That sounds like a plan to me.
Commissioners, I might have mentioned the first time I went to Flossmoor Station to meet with Dean and Carolyn, they have a little banquet area, and there was a school class in the banquet area using it. They had set up a buffet for the kids, and you know, that right off the bat, the first day I was there, I could tell it was definitely going to be a community-oriented type business. When normally you think brewery, you would think just adults, but there's no reason why a family couldn't go and the parents could enjoy, you know, good craft brews while the kids are enjoying the atmosphere and the train ambiance. Mr. Westland is going to talk a little bit about the details of the agreement.
Okay.
Essentially, first, let me say we're really excited because this is the first development that's ready to roll at the former River Park site, and I know Phil and his staff have worked really hard along with Mr. Armstrong and his people to get this up and running, and I think it's a big day in that it's sort of the first domino to fall at that area, and I think something like this, that is a family attraction, is exactly what you were looking for to put there. That said, the development agreement, there was quite a bit of back and forth, and I think through a little bit of a snafu, you don't have it in front of you right now. What we're asking you to do is approve it conceptually, subject to legal review and things like that, but what we have is the developer committing to a 28,000 square foot microbrewery and restaurant, committing to an approximate $10 million investment in a project substantially similar to what the pictures that Mr. Armstrong showed you. They would begin construction on or around November of this year. He would be finished with construction in the fall, approximately around October 1st, 2014. That whole area that he showed you in the photo would expand roughly 7.5 acres of the roughly 19 or 18 that's available out there. So it's a big part of what we're hoping the anchor to that area is going to be. The $10 million of the $10 million investment, there's a $3.5 million incentive in the agreement that is offered in staggered terms, $1 million once the developer spends his first $1 million. So what we've done in the development agreement to protect you is that the developer has to have, not that he didn't have skin in the game already, because it costs money to do what he's already done, but he's going to have to spend that $1 million to get his first $1 million of incentive. When he commences construction and starts excavating and stuff, the second portion of the incentive, $1.5 million, would be issued. And then lastly, when he got his occupancy permits, the last $1 million. So you're protected to the extent that he's not going to get the last payment, and he's going to be well invested above and beyond the $2.5 million by the time he gets his last $1 million of incentives. The developers agree that upon the transfer of the 7.5 acres, there would be restrictive covenants that would prohibit the sort of typical things that we prohibit with restrictive covenants. You can't turn around and make this a fireworks stand or a bail bondsman or something like that.
Good thing.
And those are fairly standard that you all have approved. There also will be a sign, which we're terming a highway sign, that we had always envisioned the Redevelopment Commission paying for a portion of that sign, because we're going to want to advertise every business that goes in there, and so we're going to wind up paying for the poles and some of those things, some of those items to get, and we've agreed that as the first one in and the one with the biggest risk, they get top billing. So, which I think is only fair. Essentially, those are the executive summary bullet points of the agreement. The rest of the items are your sort of standard items that you see in every development agreement.
So this 7.5 acres, When you say transfer, are we leasing like a long-term lease, or are we actually selling him this property?
We're selling the property on a forgivable loan. If he stays open and operating for, I believe it's 5 years, and I have the purchase agreement here on my computer as well, I can pull up. They're gonna sign a note and mortgage to us, essentially. And if they open their store and do what they say they're gonna do, it will ultimately be forgiven over that period of time. Okay? But, in the event that they sell or close down, then, and really, your staff and the mayor's office insisted on those sorts of provisions because we didn't want to get into a situation where, well, let's put it this way. We wanted to have the most protection for the city and the taxpayers of Hammond as we could, although knowing, of course, that we're taking a substantial risk, but yet these folks are as well. So I think it's a great project. I think that it's a great first step for that area, and I think the agreement is structured in a way that shows our commitment to Flossmoor and Flossmoor's commitment to us, now Hammond Station, excuse me, moving forward.
Will it be visible from I-94?
It better be.
Well,
That was one of the things that we had talked about, and certainly Mr. Armstrong, for obvious reasons, would love it to be visible, and we've said that we would do everything we can to do.
My wife is a country music fan, so I apologize, honey,
Right.
not remembering Toby Keith, but Toby Keith's restaurant is what mile here, right off of Interstate 94. Tastefully done. If you had a chance, the village board of trustees of Boston put a lot of faith into us, because they said, we want to open up a bar. Open up a brewery in our little sleepy little town. If you contact them, hopefully they will tell you that we have not violated their trust. They've been great with us in terms of getting variances and permits. And so obviously, Mr. Westland's done a great job in the contract, but there'll always be things that just either fall through the cracks and don't involve the details. We're in this for the long haul. We're in it for the betterment of ourselves, obviously, but also for the betterment of the community. You know, the rising tide of this all ships, we're all going to rise as a result of this. But this is my son.
Well, speaking for myself and perhaps our 5th District Councilman who is with us, Mike, welcome. And that's our neighborhood, and we have a lot of bars on Kennedy Avenue, and we do not have a bar that's family-oriented. And that, for one, I'm really, really proud to have. I will be proud to have it.
By the time this is approved and opened up, I'm going to help you work on your vocabulary a bit. A pub.
But excuse me. Do we have any pubs on Kennedy Avenue? We have bars, I'm sorry.
That's right, they may be bars. This will be a pub, it'll be a public house.
Sorry.
Community after the place.
I stand corrected, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to it. It is exciting.
Well, with the food line up too.
Yes.
That's what makes your place.
We've got 16 years of operations, good members of the community. It's been a good relationship. We hope we can have a great relationship with you all as well.
And on the developer's behalf, slightly, you know, Phil and I, and even before Phil was sitting where he's sitting, negotiated a lot of different development agreements with people, and Dean's a lawyer, so don't hold that against him, but I remember the first meeting I had with him, one of the first words out of his mouth was, you know, listen, we have, and there was some back and forth on some things, and he said, you know, you do good deals with good people, and things work out. And I can say, by and large, in working out the structure of this deal, that's exactly what's happened. And he was true to his word on that, and I have no doubt, you know, we've had some developers where we've had to be very conscious of what they said and when they said it, but Dean's been a man of his word to this point, and I suspect that will continue.
We're in it for the long haul, and no gotchas. I mean, I want to be able to sleep at night.
I got to tell, and your wife, I'm also a country music fan.
Oh, well, you knew it was Toby Keith. So.
Yes, I knew who Toby Keith was. Absolutely. Any more questions?
You know, before we go further, can you pick it up and show the audience?
Oh, sure.
They can-
Now, let's let the camera get a picture of it.
Yeah.
Commissioners, also, obviously, when you're speculating for the future, you could say many things, but the plan for Flossmoor Station in the next 2 years is for them to expand another 20,000 square feet. And part of the reason that it's 7.5 acres is to give them room for expansion. So that's their plan. And I think they have a pretty good plan. So I think it's going to come to fruition.
Sounds like a good thing for Hammond. That's what we're here for, to make Hammond better.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we get that on camera, please, if you'd be so kind?
Need a motion to approve. Need a motion to approve the development agreement with Caulfield Holding LLC. Now you can say so moved, Greg, if you want. Dean, they're about to approve.
Okay, commissioners, do you think we might be able to get a motion?
Yeah.
Reference to the Hammond?
Madam President?
Yes,
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion for approval of the development agreement with Caulfield Holding.
hold a minute, Commissioner.
Excuse me, guys.
Hey, can we get the questions answered after the meeting? Thank you.
We're going to make a motion, thank you. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion for approval of development agreement with Caldwell Holding Company LLC.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Welcome here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll be looking to see Toby when you open up.
Are you going to talk?
Okay. Number 11, a resolution of Hammond Redevelopment Commission to prohibit parking at its property located at 5210 Holman Avenue between the hours of 10 p.m. and 5 p.m. What exactly is this property? 5210?
This is the new parking lot / event area in downtown Hammond, just off of Holman Avenue.
Right across from,
Dabney University. It's basically south of Strachan Van Tills, north of the Lakeshore Chamber Building.
Any questions?
So we're going to,
I would ask, you know, and I prepared this resolution for you. After it was prepared and in talking with the mayor's office and staff a little bit, one of the concerns is that by prohibiting parking between 11 and 5, or between 10 and 5, that there were some events in downtown that did sort of bleed over into the 10:30 hour, and we wanted to make sure that we didn't preclude anything like that. So what I'm asking is that you approve this resolution with an amendment to prohibit parking at 5210 Holman Avenue between the hours of 11 p.m. and 5 a.m.
so moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes. 4 commissioners present and 1 absent. Number 12, reports.
Commissioners, with the approval of the development agreement for Hammond Station, today's a big day for Hammond.
Absolutely.
This is a project that we've been working on for at least a year, and it's taken a lot of time to get to where we are today. And there were some ups and downs, and there were some times where the owners were full throttle moving forward, and sometimes, you know, thinking things through and making sure they're making all the correct decisions. And I remember Dean left, but one of the things that he told me is there were 2 reasons that finally put him over the top that Hammond is the site that they wanted to locate at. And one was the city staff, everybody that he's talked to and worked with. And like he said, if you have a good deal with good people, you're going to have a successful project. And two was when we invited him to Beatles Fest in downtown Hammond. And he came and he saw the community at Beatles Fest. And he saw everybody gathered together. And he said that put him over the top. It sold him on Hammond. So
A good event.
this is an exciting project. And I really believe, just like in Flossmoor, where other development has moved in around him, we're already working on some other projects. But with Flossmoor moving forward and potentially being the first shovel in the ground, I think it's going to lead to other things in that area as well. So I'm very excited about this.
And so are we. I have a question. Oh, were you not finished? Go ahead.
No, I'm ready for questions.
There's a rumor, and the rumor is IHOP.
I've heard this rumor.
You've heard the rumor?
I've heard a rumor on 173rd Street about IHOP, but what I could tell you is we have not been approached
Okay.
by anybody. So I don't know where the rumor started, but I have heard it as well.
It's all in down Kennedy Avenue.
So I won't say it's, usually when there's a rumor, there's some ounce of truth to it, but at this point in time, the city has not been, they have not come to the city for a meeting and to discuss this project.
Any more questions, Phil? Mr. Taylor? And is there anyone here for Ms. Miller?
No.
Okay. Number 13, pay some bills.
Madam President,
Yes, Commissioner.
I make a motion to approve the register of claims from April 24th, 2013 through June 13th, 2013 for redevelopment commission meeting of June 18th, 2013. Claims are for 8426 inclusive to R48708.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. The bills are paid, motion passes. Number 14, new and unfinished business.
Commissioners, you have, I handed out prior to the meeting, a subordination agreement request for Douglas Scholes, who is here. Mr. Scholes will step up to the podium. As you can see, this is a typical subordination request that we've seen in the past, lowering the interest rate. There's no cash, no proceeds from the loan. If you have any questions for Mr. Scholes, now's the time.
1.4% less, huh?
Where is this? Where's your property, Mr. Schultz?
7710 Northcott.
Martha? Thank you. Any questions, Commissioner?
Madam President,
Yes, Commissioner.
I'll make a motion for approval for the subordination agreement request for Douglas Schultz at 7710 North Cotton, Hammond, Indiana.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Congratulations. Number 15.
Commissioner.
I got one more item.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have one more. I'm so
Sorry. I was recently contacted by the Hammond Port Authority. There are 3 pieces of property, one at 10950 Indianapolis Boulevard, one at 2842 New York Avenue, and one at 2217 Indianapolis Boulevard that are all located at or around the Port Authority. What happened is that these properties, through, quite frankly, Don Novak's eagle eyes and combing through the legal notices that are all in the paper that none of us really look at, Don actually reads those things, and he noticed that these 3 properties, amongst about 25 others in Hammond, were being sold at a commissioner's sale with a minimum bid of like $5. What we can do is make application for all those properties then. We did, and these 3 were 3 of the roughly 20-some, and I think you've seen some of my statements and stuff for cleaning the title on the other ones. These 3 were part of that. The Port Authority has requested that we transfer these 3 properties to them. They've been maintaining them in the roughly 12 months or so that we've had title, and they want to continue to maintain them, but for accounting purposes, Mr. Lendy and Mr. Novak have indicated it would be better if it was transferred over to the Port Authority. They're going to continue to maintain it. We don't want to incur that cost anymore, or at all. We never really have. And so what I'm looking for is a motion to proceed forward with the intergovernmental transfer of 10950 Indianapolis Boulevard, 2217 Indianapolis Boulevard, and 2842 New York Avenue to the Hammond Port Authority.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Motion passes, 1 commissioner absent. I'd like to recognize, we have our council lady, Janet Benaz, with us today. Thank you for visiting us. Any more?
No,
business?
now I'm done.
No business. Public comments, 3 minutes, please. Please come forward and introduce yourself.
Madam President, my name is Robert Wilkie. I work alongside with the Hammond Harrison Park Veterans Memorial.
Okay?
And with the money going into Harrison Park, has anybody thought about trying to help the memorial? Because all we're doing is, when we get our money, it's all out of donations. We have no corporate sponsors. We have nothing to help us try to finish the memorial up. With all the money going into Harrison Park, wouldn't that be a good step toward helping make the park look good without just having a half a memorial there?
Commissioners, the Harrison Park project is paid for from HUD, Housing and Urban Development. So to use HUD dollars for a memorial, whenever you use HUD dollars, it has to be for something that meets one of their requirements. Typically, most of the HUD dollars that we use somehow focus on low to moderate income residents of the city.
Right.
And Harrison Park, we were able to use the low mod area, saying that there's certain people in this area that qualify as low mod area income, so we were able to move forward with Harrison Park. As far as the memorial, we could look into it. I can't say whether we could or couldn't, but we could look into it. If we were to be able to do something with the memorial, it probably would have to be done with HUD dollars, because really that's the only dollars we had available for this project. So what I could say is we can look into it. There's not much more I could say without looking into guidelines and seeing if there's some sort of way of using HUD dollars for this particular project.
I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Personally, I own a couple of bricks there, and you guys done a great job there. You really have.
I do appreciate it, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alvin Cheeks, 832 Merrill Street. I got several conjunctions. I'm gonna be right up under the 3 minutes. Number one, with the Harrison Park.
Excuse me, would you please come over and sign in, please? I failed to have, will you please sign in, Alvin? Be so kind.
Is no conjecture up under the law, under the public expression that you have to sign in, ma'am. I'm going to abstain from that.
Okay.
I just want to get to my point and do my 3 minutes.
Okay.
If it's all possible, I'll wait till this gentleman leave.
Thank you.
I'm here today on several issues, one being Harrison Park. The Harrison project should be about, the gentleman brought it up, that it should be about low and moderate people. The only thing that I've heard since the existence of the project is doing things for Hammond High. It has no conjecture in regards to its residents. My son plays golf. Yes, my son does play tennis, but what about the youth that play basketball? No disrespect to the military, but if we're going to use low to moderate income dollars, why not be used to develop something to keep our kids off the street? The young man that I adopted last year, he plays basketball. He's on the AAU team. They don't have anywhere to practice. So why not put it there where those kids can have somewhere to practice and make it about its residents? I'm a Hammond High graduate. I love Hammond High. But I have not heard anything about the residents getting what they wanted at that. Every single time I've heard people come up here, you know, the school that's across the street there, the Monastery School, I've heard things develop for them, for Hammond High sports program. What about the residents that use the park? What about the residents, the Hispanic people that live around there that deserve a job on that project? Why not make the contractors live up to the fact that, being the fact that it's HUD dollars, there should be Hispanic people, there should be African American people working on that project, and it's not happening. The second thing is in regards to the brewery. I didn't hear not one part of the development agreement that made reference to the fact that there's a city ordinance that says that when we give a business a certain amount of dollars, that they should give back so many jobs to the Hammond residents. I didn't hear anything about that in the development agreement. So if it's not in the development agreement, then that means it doesn't exist. And that ordinance has been around forever. The other thing that I didn't hear them say publicly is that how many minority contractors are going to be a part of that project. That's what my problem is. If we're going to use our dollars, then how many people should benefit first? Our unions. That's in the heart. Harrison Park is in the heart of the Hispanic community. My son plays in that park 8-9 hours a day. I've not seen one woman on that project, and I've not seen one Hispanic. And in order to say that, I'm going to lose my voice in 2 seconds. But the thing that we should have is something that exists for us. If it's going to be in the heart of our community, we should benefit. Okay, some people that lived around there didn't like the fact that basketball hoops were there. In the minority community, we play basketball. My son doesn't, but other kids do. So that should, no disrespect to the military, but this commission should take the same goals in going after taking some of those dollars and putting a Class A AAU course out there where our kids don't have to be hurt and they can be in a safe environment. The other thing that needs to be there is a sidewalk where the seniors can have a walk area. Those are things that should be developed through HUD. And next month, I'm going to have that same argument in Washington because it's a shame that HUD has put those dollars there and we're not benefiting from them. I told HUD Chicago the same thing. Why would we have a project in our area and we don't benefit? I see John Locks is in the back of the room. I haven't seen the Redevelopment Commission go after helping him develop his area. We need to do the same thing for our developers in this area. And I'm right at my 3 minutes, so I'm going to leave. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? 3 minutes?
I just want to answer the question. In the development agreement is the standard provision that is in every one of your development agreements that the developer will be subject to all city applicable ordinances, including but not limited to prevailing wage. In addition, in this particular instance, this developer acknowledged that the creation of jobs in Hammond, Indiana, and Northwest Indiana were a focus, and acknowledged that and agreed to take all reasonable steps to hire first from the city of Hammond, second from Northwest Indiana, and third from the state of Indiana. And additionally, there are reporting requirements on this developer that are over and above what other developers have signed in development agreements, affirming that he would do that and report to us regarding that. So the jobs and the employment issue, quite frankly, I know better than to present this development agreement before a city council without some provision like that being in there. And you folks wouldn't have agreed to it either. So we wouldn't, that's sort of a standard thing.
Commissioners, there's also language in the agreement that states that prior to the bid going out to the public, that Flossmoor Station, the general contractor, will meet with the Hammond Contractors Group. This is a group of about somewhere between 15 and 18 businesses, all located in Hammond, to give them basically a leg up on the bid so that they have a very good shot at having a successful bid for this project. So if Dean was here, and I know he left, but he would be the first one to tell you, he plans, if it was up to him, every employee at the business would be a Hammond resident.
I heard that in his speech. He said 100 people from the city of Hammond.
Absolutely.
Did say that.
So I just
It
wanted
should show in the minutes. Thank you, Phil. Good job. Thank you, Dave. Any more? Anyone else like to speak? Okay, I'd like to welcome Ms. Carlotta King. Haven't seen you in a long time. Welcome to visit us. We haven't seen you in a long time. Okay, number 16.
Madam President,
Yes, Commissioner.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.